So if you notice, we just did our part 2, and as we transition in that between 2 and 3, Keisha and I, just real quick, thank you for joining us. We don't want to take that out. Welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is Kiana Monroe.
And I'm Lakeisha Johnson.
Boom. And this is the Life Matters Project podcast. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we are working together as a community on our life journey. And going into that is we're taking a little break, right? Before we go into part 3 of wounds. And Keisha and I want to kind of talk to you about what we go through just a little bit. We're doing the life struggle of the day because we're on this journey with you. This is a community and we're part of it with you. And just because we're sharing a lot doesn't mean that we don't have our moments, we don't have our days. Like, we were dealing with some technical difficulty today, and it was harder than it had to be because we both got here with our own personal stuff from our day. And we want to kind of discuss that with you guys and talk to you guys about that and share some of our stuff with you, and then give you a little pointer and something to think about, right?
That's right. I certainly have some things that I'm dealing with, and I guess I'll go ahead and go first. You want me to let them know what my struggles are? Okay, so let me just tell you, I tend to think of myself as
like this.
It's like, yeah, ma'am. That's funny. I tend to think of myself as a pretty strong, even-keeled, think things through type of person. And I just know and realize in life that no matter how together you think you might have it, that you really don't. And so my struggle of the day is really just, what it is doing is leading me to understand that I'm not in control. We all want so much control, but we're really not in control. There's one person, one entity in control, that is God. And we're to walk it out, but we do not have control. We cannot just order things. We can only walk things out. So I am dealing with transition and learning about seasons. So I'm in transition with work. I chose to be an independent contractor a while back in the medical field. I told you what I do is I see patients for their medical issues, and I decided to be an independent contractor. So that comes with a whole set of just criteria to get used to. And so I'm always in limbo because I'm employed as long as I have the next position. So I'm in a stable position, but just learning how to really let go and just trust and know that will be provided for is a big one for me. And then also dealing with seasons, knowing that some people come in your life for seasons, and then some people that are in your life have different seasonal purposes at that time. For instance, being a parent, right? This is a big one. I gotta tell you guys a story that happened.
It's only 18 years. I mean, it's a lifetime, but I mean, under your roof, it's usually 18 to 20 years.
And as a mom, even though you say 18 years and you think 18 years, you never stop having that connection with your child.
Yeah.
You're always concerned and wanting to be involved and wanting them to be the best person they can be, even if it's better than you've ever been. And that's one thing to be aware of. They're not perfect. You weren't perfect. So just really giving that time. My child is grown, and there's a time right now where I'm transitioning to understand that she's an adult, and she's transitioning to understand that she is an adult as well on her end, and the things she has to do as an adult.
Yeah.
And it's a pull. I know a lot of you that are in the situation that I'm in with children that are transitioning into adulthood. It's a serious transition, excuse me, and I really think about even like the time when she had to sleep in her own bed, and the time we had to potty train her, and the time that she had to start driving. These are all major transitions that we go through as parents, and it causes some flux of emotion. And so, but we have to really just understand that they're their own people now. We've done our jobs. We have to let them move on. And many of us have done fine jobs. And even if we didn't, if we understand today that we love our children and want the best for them, then we can understand it's time to let go. So let me just tell you real quickly, I met this lady in a nail shop yesterday, and she was crying. An older lady, like my grandmother, she was crying because she was so upset with her daughter, who was very much grown, like I think her daughter, she said, was 54. And
yeah, she grown. She old grown.
Girl, but let me tell you, I see this all too much where parents feel like they have to be in control of their children and they seek their children's approval. And I don't want to be in that situation. So right now, as my child is a very young adult, she's just getting to the adulthood, I'm trying to transition away. Like, that's her life. She's doing her thing. I don't have to put my input all the time or control because I've already instilled those things. And so a lady was praying with her in the nail shop, and she was crying. The lady was praying in the spirit, and I went over, I sat next to him. Because when I see somebody praying in the spirit like that, I want to be right. I was waiting anyway, so I went and sat next to him, and I started praying with him. And I was just listening and hearing what she had to say. She was so hurt about her daughter. I saw this thing on Facebook. It was a lady who was, I think, in her 80s, and she passed away out of heartbreak, it said, because of her children not being there. People, we have to understand our children are people too, and they have their own lives. They don't have to do anything for us, just like we didn't have to do anything for them. So
you can't let your children do it. You can't allow it, because I know you heard the saying. My great grandmother used to say, "Y'all not about to put me in no early grave." Remember that?
Exactly.
You're not about to put me in no early grave.
Yeah, she was so like, oh, and I just hate her because she won't be nice to me or kind, or whatever the issue they were having. The daughter wasn't being the way you would hope that your child would be and be respectful and take care of her and everything. But you got to get to a place where anything outside of you that you rely on cannot hold that much weight. You have to be self-sufficient, and that's where I'm at right now.
Be okay without it.
I'm trying to think of how to transition my life to be self-sufficient and, let my child go on and, understand how to let go and let God and live my best life for me. Yeah. It's not going to be dependent on whether you come visit me or whether you call me on my birthday or, you might even go get married and don't invite me, have grandchildren. Now, granted, I hope that won't happen, but it's okay, because if that's what you want to do, I certainly am not going to force you to, cater to me, and that's not what you want to do. So God bless you. Good. Have your best life.
Your best life.
That's a good one. A lot of people struggle with that.
A lot of people. I struggle with it. I struggle with, I say my life struggles today. My teenager, I think I said this before, he's 16, and I noticed that he wants later curfews, he wants more freedom, and I'll tell him, you want the adult freedom without the adult responsibilities, and it don't work like that. It don't work like that. I'm your mother, I'm not your friend, I'm not your homegirl, and I'm not your girlfriend. And he keeps saying relax and just, chill and let me be me, but you want to turn around and be you, and then you're constantly asking me for stuff. But this is just the back and forth that I do, and I'm trying to figure out how much to give and when to pull back. How much to give, when to pull back, because I don't want to enable him, and that is the struggle that I deal with all the time. Balance and making sure that I don't enable him, allowing him to learn things the hard way. It's hard to watch your babies hurt. It's hard to watch your babies go through things, and it's like, I know you're about to hurt yourself. Sometimes you have to let them fall. They have to hit their ass real hard, sometimes twice, and you just be there. You be there. Stand back, but you be there. And it's hard because you're going to go, ooh. Because remember when they were a baby and you would catch them so that they don't bump their head on the coffee table, or they don't bump their head on something. But
I know exactly what you're saying.
You can't do that. And I'm learning with my son, you can't do that, because if he doesn't fall on his behind, he is not going to value what's given to him. And people say it's enabling all the time. Like, for example, when I got him into specific programs, and some of them he blew, some scholarships he blew, right? But those were important to me that he got in. It was a big deal to me, because I knew how hard it was for me to get into where I am right now. For him, that's easy. It was given. That's not valuable to him. He didn't have to earn that. He don't know what it takes to get to that level and to get these type of scholarships. So it was okay for him to blow up. And if you keep giving him stuff, what you value is not what they value. Christian's life story is not my life story. and my life story is not Kristen's life story. And I cannot force him to make choices and decisions the way I would, or value things the way I would. Because we're two different people, and I have to let him find out the hard way and learn things the hard way. And so my teenager is a big part of my life struggle, as well as giving myself some balance. Like, one of the things that I did was I have a muscle strain, and I pulled a muscle on my back. And on my way to this venue, I was praying in my car, and I was just saying, Lord, help me make the best decisions for myself, because I know that sometimes I'm paying attention, and I'm paying attention to some patterns, and I'm paying attention to some patterns that are not necessarily healthy, and I have to surrender and ask God to help me to control situations when I don't have control. Even at my best effort, I need to go ahead and be weak so that God can show himself strong in my area of weakness. I cannot take on everything. And I have to say, Lord, help me to see my faults and celebrate my strengths. Acknowledge the things that I'm doing. Help me to see what it is that I'm doing, whether it's not giving myself balance, whether it is doing things that are people pleasing, because I still have habits, and I still have ways where I do a lot of people pleasing. And what I say is, sit back and relax and give it time. Be patient with yourself. We always say give it to God and go to sleep, but I have not been sleeping easy. I have not been sleeping easy. And the best thing is just like, Lord, I don't want to keep repeating my mistakes. Help me learn. Help me learn from the mistakes that I make. Help me balance. Help me to surrender. That's a big thing for me. Control. Same thing.
It's huge.
Control.
It's huge. It's huge for so many people. Once I began the journey of self-awareness and just finding myself and learning things about myself, I'm looking around and I'm seeing the same people suffering from the same habits and same belief systems and standards, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves by thinking that we're in control. And sometimes when you think you're in too much control, things are going wrong, and that's how you realize, I need to humble up and understand who's in control, because one thing after another thing after another thing, life will break you down, and you got to be humble, and you got to say, I'm gonna let this go. Sometimes you just have to laugh,
laugh it out or cry it out. Let me tell you something really funny. Keisha and I came in here today and we were like, I just want to cry. And she's like, me too. Yeah. And so it's more so of, we're both investing in a lot of things in our lives right now. You know what I mean? We have big dreams, we have big faith, and we have big desires, and we have big hearts. Right? And we are both in a season of waiting. We are both in a season of being patient. And we're just like, well, when is the fruit of my labor going to show? Right. When is the fruit of my labor going to show? And it can be overwhelming. And this morning we sat with our feelings. We tell you guys all the time, feeling is healing. We felt it today. We was just like,
I said, oh my God, you too?
Just get it out. She said, just get it out, girl. Just cry it out. Just go ahead and cry it out and get it out. And I was just like, I'm tired. I need to give myself a break. And then we did a little tip on it. Like, we're taking our own advice. The same thing that we're feeding, we have to look at it and take our own advice and say, you know what?
Yeah, but
we need a break, and that's okay.
To what you were saying though, balance is huge. It's important in every area of our life, every relationship, but especially with ourselves. I love how you said, I appreciate the good things about myself, things like my accomplishments, like what I am doing right, because we can tend to beat ourselves up so much about what's not happening that we're not looking at, but this is good about me. This is what I can do. These are the things, these are my attributes, and I love that, because that's going to balance you out. And you have to also look at your shortcomings.
Micro wins and celebrating yourself.
And things can sneak up on you while you think you have control, you might have things with your family, with your children, with the businesses you're trying to build. I was telling Kiana, I have a day job, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I want to be a mogul, and I want to do help. And I can do all of those things, but listen to our life tips. We have some really good tips about how to balance that.
You can't eat the elephant overnight.
Yeah.
Okay? Bite-sized pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Bite-sized pieces. And we were talking earlier today, and we want you to do this too before we close out. Like, we really want to ask you, look at all the stuff that you're doing. Make sure that you focus on your why.
Mm-hmm.
And then sit down and say, okay, if you don't get it, then what? If you don't accomplish it this year, then what? Strip yourself down. Who are you without?
Mm-hmm.
Who is Keisha without her business?
Mm-hmm.
Who is Keisha without her kids?
Mm-hmm.
Who is Keisha if something happened, and God forbid, because that ain't never gonna happen. We got real wood here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if she lost, a couple of things, who is she? I think a lot of us sometimes, and for me too, who is Kiana without the Pretty to Me Foundation? Who are we without this Life Matters Project?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I without, and really look back at the ground roots. I'm still fabulous. We're still great. We're still strong. We're still a lot of things. So that helps when it comes to giving yourself a break, because it helps you to release. I am still amazing, and I would do okay if it didn't happen now.
Right. I always say this one thing, and I honestly don't understand how many people do life without relationship with God and how your higher power, that your creator. Because I always say this one thing: if God does nothing else for me, He's done enough. And I have to take a moment sometime to remind myself that and appreciate that, and that what you were saying about just really seeing who you are without ties into one of the things I've been telling myself lately is really enjoy the moments before they pass. While you're running to this meeting and you're going to work and rushing off work, and then you have this other thing you're into and this party and this social, all these things are happening, and I don't want to miss life. I think it was a movie, one of the Tyler Perry movies where the ladies, I think it was a Family That Prays, it was a good movie. And the lady said, are you living, Tyler? Are you living? Or are you just existing? So I want to live. I want to enjoy the moments. I want to be able to stop and smell the roses. I mean, all that's going on around me does not define who I am. These are things I'm pouring myself into, but I have to have some self to pour into it, right?
Right.
So
strip down all that.
Yeah.
Strip
don't
down
let
all the
life
stuff.
go too fast and miss the moments, the important moments, the powerful moments, the moments, the quality time,
Because you're so focused on the stuff.
Yeah. And then I think that's kind of where I was this morning.